What a waste, right? No. No. It is a longer time. And we'll think, what a waste of time. But you see, God has a way of turning things around, even our bad choices. Because by his own experience, she says, Ellen White, he or Moses must be prepared to exercise a fatherly care over all who needed his help. She comments about this and says, Moses had been learning much that he must unlearn. One of the philosophers of the antiquity, he was very well known, I don't remember his name, it doesn't matter. A student comes to him and says, teacher, I want to be your student. And he says, I already know many things. I know this and this and this and this and this. How much does it cost me to be your student? And he says, this much. Oh, but teacher, it's double the price that you usually charge. Well, you have to unlearn first what you already know in order to learn what is right. That's how it goes with our LIC, Limited Intelligence Company. We think we know. And when God is trying to tell us something, oh, yeah, I know this already. And God stops and quietly nods his head. Okay, go ahead. And then Moses happens. Poof, a punch. And whoosh, detour 40 years. But those 40 years were necessary for him to unlearn what he already learned, because he needed to learn the right way. In a funny way, somebody said, a kick in the rear is a step forward. Sometimes we get this kind of a kick in the rear because we think, and we think that's a bad thing, but it's actually a step forward without our knowledge or volition. God works in miraculous way, in different ways in our life, and we learn the easy way and the hard way. But in all these times, we have to remember that we have a limited view of what we have. It's not that wide screen that many people want to have or to see. It's not even that screen that represents as big as your phones. It's just a very punctual, minuscule point of view. That's why it's called a point, because it's just a point. It's not even a line. It's not a surface that includes different points. It's just a point of view. I'm pretty sure that all of us here have had this kind of events in our life. That we tasted the sour grapes, we tasted some of the dust of the ground, we felt the kick in the behind. Whatever happened, whatever way you can describe it, might have hurt, might have been inconvenient, might have been something that we didn't like. But if we wait patiently on the Lord, He will bring us to the clear vision that we need. It's not always what we want, but He will always bring us what we need. Can we all trust Him for that? Let's express that trust in Him by singing together the closing song, A Shelter in the Time of Storm, because that's what He is. No matter how big the storm, no matter what's happening, He is a shelter for us. Number 528. 528.
Stand with us as we sing the closing song.
The Lord's our rock, in him we hide, a shelter in the time of storm. Secure whatever ill betide, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful guide for the pilgrim band, a shelter in the time of storm. A shade by day, defense by night, a shelter in the time of storm. No fears alarm, no foes afraid, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful guide for the pilgrim band, a shelter in the time of storm. The raging storms may round us beat, a shelter in the time of storm. We find in God a safe retreat, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful guide for the pilgrim band, a shelter in the time of storm. O rock divine, O refuge dear, a shelter in the time of storm. Be thou our helper ever near, a shelter in the time of storm. Mighty rock in a weary land, cooling shade on the burning sand, faithful guide for the pilgrim band, a shelter in the time of storm.
Dear Father in heaven, we want to thank you that we can lean on you, and we ask that we'd lean on you and not on our own understanding, but to follow you and as you guide us in each one of our lives. Please go with us now, we ask in your name. Amen. You may be seated.